I'm Donna.
And I'm Bruce, and this is Lyrical Wisdom.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Lyrical Wisdom, where we dive into song lyrics and offer heart-based wisdom through our interpretations. If you enjoy what you're hearing, don't forget you can catch every episode of Lyrical Wisdom on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more.
You can also find us on YouTube. Just search Lyrical Wisdom Show. Do you have a song you'd like to hear us shed some light on? You can email us requests, questions, comments to lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. That's lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on a YouTube video. We'd really love to hear from you. And all requests get an episode and a shout out.
So join us every Tuesday and Friday as we dig deep and deliver our wisdom. And thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing to
Lyrical Wisdom.
Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Donna.
What a beautiful day.
It is such a beautiful day, and I'm lucky enough to say that it rained like crazy, and now the world seems like it's just breathing fresh.
Yeah, it kind of clears things up, doesn't it?
Yes, in such a beautiful way. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Bruce, I have to tell you, I was with a friend yesterday, I believe it was, and it was so fascinating. Actually, it wasn't a friend, it was a stranger. Anyway, all they kept saying was, it's just another day in paradise. And I just smiled so big. And I said, right? And she said, yeah, I wake up every morning and tell myself, what another beautiful day in paradise.
That's amazing.
And I
It's
just
almost,
thought of you. I
that's
was like,
amazing.
wow. And she talked about how it makes her day so much brighter.
Well, it does mine too.
Yeah.
And there was a time when I thought, I wonder if our listeners like hearing me say that every time I come on, but I can't help it because it is. Every day is like that. And, I like the fact that, if somebody wanted to use it with a little bit of a sense of humor, there's that too. Like it can make you smile no matter what.
Hmm.
So I think that that is a beautiful thing. And thank you for telling me that story, Donna. That's
I
amazing.
couldn't wait. I was
You
like, this is so beautiful because
you
in
caught
that
me.
moment, I do believe I was like at Lowe's and I was at the cash register and it was, the woman that had been helping me with my, trying to get everything correct of what I was purchasing.
Yeah,
And the other lady standing there, it was the three of us, and we just really did enjoy this moment of like beauty
yeah, that's
created out of just an instant of
yeah,
the thought of being in paradise.
that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was like,
Oh
wow,
my goodness, that's
this stuff
amazing.
really does work. So find a way, whatever way you can find to make a better day, and just claim it as your way. This is my way. I'm
Yes.
going to have a beautiful day.
Oh, that's beautiful, Donna. That is
Yeah,
beautiful. Yes, and I hope everybody out there is having a beautiful, gorgeous, amazing experience. Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you for that beautiful moment I got to
Oh,
share with two strangers.
that's amazing.
A
Yeah,
moment of paradise.
that's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
really cool. So, yeah, we were discussing about the many different ways that you can really begin to create your reality. And it does begin with a simple change in attitude, change in thought. And if you do it first thing in the morning, it follows you throughout the day.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And by saying it, especially for yourself, it can give you back so much. I believe that. And I love that because it makes me feel like, another day in paradise makes me kind of feel like the I am statement
Mm,
inside, that feeling where you feel I am, and you can fill in, these beautiful things, and just it opens my heart to like say those things, it just really makes me feel good.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope all of you are feeling good out there. Let's um let's shine a little light in your day with the beautiful song we have picked out. I got to
Yes,
tell you, Bruce, I believe that we both have some beautiful memories around just this song
we do.
and this artist.
We definitely do. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a oldie but goodie.
Yes. I like
It's
how you said that.
Yeah, it really, really is because I know it's been around, this song, for a long time, and I know that it's been used in many different ways. Everybody, or most everybody, will recognize this song, I
Yeah.
believe.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah, are you
agree.
ready, Bruce?
I am ready, and I love the way that you actually brought this song into our conversation today. I thought that was very clever. I couldn't hold back. I had to tell you that. So please, without further ado.
Yeah, here we go. My Way by Frank Sinatra. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets? I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each chartered course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and I spit it out. I faced it all and I stood tall and I did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried. I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has naught. To say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Yes, it was my way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful, powerful lyrics.
It is, especially when you realize just the truth in this statement. You create your reality.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was feeling. That was so beautifully said. Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much because that felt really good to hear you just say what you said. And that is my truth, you know. But I like the beginning of this song because I like how Frank Sinatra takes this song and it speaks to kind of it's like a I don't want to say well, yeah, it's definitely a metaphor. I just uh don't always like to use words that are big and like are above my pay grade. But I I just I like how he used this very first couple of lines, and now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. It's all well, the end is near, final curtain. These words are very specific in their way of indicating one journey is ending and another is beginning. And to look back on that journey, that's how I feel like it's just so well said at that very beginning portion.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And the interesting thing of it, Bruce, is that the curtain can be for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we can take it as the end of life,
Yes.
on the
Yes.
deathbed, and
Yeah.
you know, it's your final curtain.
This is the end. Yes.
Right. However, there are also so many deaths within one's lifetime that that final curtain is drawn many, many times.
Absolutely.
And it's in the realization that it is that final curtain for that specific time that frees the soul to live again, to rise up and to be more than it was when that curtain was drawn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of us can sometimes I feel like I can find that in myself, I will say. My truth is that I know that I've had moments in my life that have started, and then that portion of that journey came to an end. I was able to get to the end of the journey of that moment, and then another journey or another spectacular adventure would start. And so, I think that's a really beautiful way of putting it, Donna. For me, that was how it resonates. Because then, he goes on to say, my friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case of which I'm certain, in speaking to somebody, here I am saying the end is near. I'm facing the final current. And then to my friend again, let me just kind of punctuate my point. Let me put a finer point on it and make it very clear, state my case and make it very clear, of which I'm certain, like that word again, very strong, very intentional to say, I know,
Right.
and I love that about this because it's the certainty of how he sings this, it just makes you feel like, okay, I really resonate with that because to me, there's moments like that. It's like I can look back on that and I can see exactly this and that, you know, having have, hopefully or work through kind of the shadow work, as I like to call it, and kind of work through that and be able to look at it and be able to see those memories, not have them hidden, blocked out in fear. But I am certain I can look back on this and I can say, because that's what you feel is building. He's building this wave of how he's setting up the song and delivering it to the listener.
Hmm. Oh, I agreed, Bruce. And the one word that keeps like just screaming in my head is clarity. And
Yes.
so many people, especially now, are searching for clarity.
Yeah.
They want that certainty within their life that they're making the right decisions. When it does
Yes.
come to the final curtain, whether it's with the job, with the relationship, with, a certain way of being, a
Yeah.
habit.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something big. It can be something simple that has, come to its final place within your life, a
Yeah.
habit, a food, something, it's like, I'm not going to do this anymore
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of attitude. And when the clarity comes in that it is over,
Hmm.
then to be able to state your case clearly is that moment of freedom that
Yeah.
comes from the curtain being drawn.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way of looking at it. I that resonates with me so strongly because that's how I feel too. And I love how, you know, it's kind of it's such a beautiful song in the way that it weaves this together so that every time he starts singing, there's something that's going to be added in here. The ingredients just keep building and layering and building, and it just keeps building to, I've lived a life that's full. And, we're only like four sentences into the song. And it's so
Yeah.
incredible how he's, building this. And it it's really amazing because then I feel like the way it gets wrapped up is how it keeps, like you're just waiting for him to kind of put that note in there and create the harmony, and just like suddenly make your whole soul and body just vibrate and resonate with what he's singing, you know.
Right, right. Because he does. He begins to quote, state his case. He's
Yes.
lived a life that's full,
Yeah.
traveled each and every highway. In other
Yeah.
words, I've done it every way possible. I mean, each and every highway, not just
Yeah.
this highway, Bruce, or that highway.
Yeah.
No, each and every highway. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
lot. He's telling you, I've done a lot in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And then to follow it up with more, much more than this. I mean, how
Yes.
could you go any bigger than each and every highway, right?
I agree. It's like
I mean, it's
it's
like, yes, the escalation of the the fullness and the depth and the information that's about to come out, what follows those words is the most potent, powerful statement there ever could be.
yes. It's
I did it my way.
yes. Can you say that again, Donna? I think I jumped in on the I.
I did it my way.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. He said, I was authentic. I was me. I was real. And that's what truly counts.
I agree. That really is, and you said it so beautifully because That's exactly how I feel. Like all of this build up, it builds and builds, and then he finally puts that, that Lego in the spot and kind of finishes off this beautiful picture, this beautiful creation. He paints that color in, adds that note in. It just becomes that beautiful harmonizing thing that, you know, just gives our soul that feeling. And that's the words, yeah, that does it. And it's perfectly placed, because it
Perfectly placed.
it is, and I love that because then it keeps happening, but it doesn't just happen in the way that it starts out. He changes the song just very subtly, and it just adds even more flavor to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
that's
know,
funny because you said he you placed the last Lego, which is really cool because then the picture is formed.
yeah.
It's whatever it is you were building is complete. I must be hungry, Bruce, because what dropped in my head was he placed the cherry on top.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
Oh my
know,
gosh,
he
that's
put the
beautiful. I love
cherry
it.
on top.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I believe he goes in to break down his
Yes.
life
Yeah,
into smaller segments so that we can understand that he was human.
I agree.
Regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. In other words, we all have regrets in our life.
Oh my
Do
gosh,
we
yeah.
need to dwell on them?
Yeah.
That is the question.
That's because then he says, I did what I had to do. It really it's exactly like you just said. Like, yeah, I've had a few. Like I don't think the beauty I think in the lyrics is that he is admitting to be human and saying, yeah, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that will tell you that no regrets. And I think that is really tricky in some cases, and to be a human and just say, hey, I've had a few, too few to mention, but I did what I had to do. I think that's a beautiful way of just being like just what you said, just being human.
Hmm. And I love the next lyric too, Bruce, because what it does is it follows it through to completion. In other words, regrets, I've had a few, too few to mention. I did what I had to do. I saw it through
Yes.
without exemption.
Yeah.
In
That's
other words, he didn't leave this one out or that one out and
no.
say,
Yeah.
that one wasn't too bad. I don't have to do anything, or
Yes.
I can live with that one. No, he cleared everything.
And
I
that's why
love that.
me too. And I'm really glad you said that because the word exemption is so powerful in there for that. For that reason, it is, to me, that's what just keeps sticking me like in
Yeah.
the brain. Like, yes, yes, yes. Because I agree. He used that word instead of another word that he could have chosen.
Hmm.
Exemption to me is much stronger, and it has that that indication that there could have been something that would have been not swept under the rug. No,
Right.
actually just ignored, just flat out ignored. Like as people say, at the elephant in the room, it would have been the elephant in the room, and that would have been completely ignored. And so I think I agree with you. It's such a strong like way of putting that. It's a very, very direct and I think intentional. I agree with you.
Very
So
intentional. And thank you, Allison, because bringing up the dictionary, the what exemption means, the definition, duh, the definition of exemption. I love the fact that it's defined as the process of freeing or the state of being free from an obligation or liability imposed on others. So when you go deeper with just that, Bruce, this is what we do to ourselves. We
Yes.
impose this regret on
Yes.
ourselves.
Yes.
And to follow through without exemption means that he freed himself from all the regrets he
Yeah.
ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And learned how to, of course, he forgave himself. And I think that's why I love the beauty of it.
Hmm.
He really, I think for a lot of us, we feel like that's going way out on a limb. I'm going to admit that I have regrets. Yikes, that's so scary. But it's such a human thing to do in this song and to say, I didn't try to avoid them. I hit them head on and I worked
Hmm.
through it and I did my work and I, rolled up my sleeves and I got my hands dirty, whatever. I got my, dove head first, whatever, it's just, it's really, I think, exactly what you're talking about there. I think yeah, nailed it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the other part that he talks about is I planned each charted course. So through all of this hard work that he's doing like this, he's also very careful. And I just gave away one of the words that's coming up. Sorry. But, I planned each charted course, you know, because, I think that's important too. He's also saying, I did this with intention,
Hmm.
you know?
Each careful step
Yes,
along the byway.
yes,
And of course, after explaining all of this, he said, and more, much more than this, much more than the careful planning you put into each step, more than the charted course that you
yeah,
mapped out.
yeah,
Do it, he said. I did it my way. You've
yes,
got to do it your way.
yes.
Yeah.
I,
So I,
yes.
I, I know Frank did not write this song.
Oh,
The actual, author of these lyrics was written by Paul Anka. And we all know Paul Anka, very, very famous in his own right,
yeah, no, that's no
as a
joke.
singer,
Yeah,
a songwriter. Yeah, Paul
yeah.
Anka. He actually wrote these beautiful lyrics.
Wow.
I just know that it was Frank who really put this song on the map.
Oh, yeah.
He goes in to
Yeah,
say, yes, there were times I'm sure you knew when I bit off much more than I could chew.
I love that.
Yes. Don't we all?
Yes, and
Don't
I
we
yeah,
all?
we are good about trying to multitask with way too many options and taking on too much. That is so eloquently said by Paul Anka. But listening to Frank Sinatra sing it, it's just
Hmm.
it really strikes that chord, and it's a cliche, biting off more than you can chew, but it is so appropriate because it does to everybody's, we all do that. And but through it all, when there was doubt, he's saying, I ate it up and spit it out. Like, okay, yeah, I love how he uses these kind of metaphors and cliches in this song because he's saying, yeah, I bit off more than I can chew. But, through it all, when there was doubt, I just ate it up and spit it out. Like I took it on and I won. I did not let that, that wasn't the way I was going to handle it at that moment.
Yeah. I like the way, like you said, the metaphors and how they were used, Bruce, because he bit off more than he could chew. But guess what he did? He chewed it
Yes. Yeah.
and spit
Yeah.
it out. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I could just see it. It was like, oh no, what did I do? Okay, I've done this. Now let me handle it. And
Yeah. He
chomp,
he
chomp,
owned
chomp, chomp, and then
yeah.
just
Yeah.
and
He
spit
owns
it out.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. He
Yes.
owns it and he acknowledges it. And he just, and I think that's the way that, like, it's like, okay, because then I faced it all and I stood tall. He was like, okay, Paul Anka, Frank Sinatra, a beautiful way, because I want to take their name and say, you could put Frank Sinatra, you could put him in a Superman suit and say, I took it all and stood tall, and he's got on his Superman shirt with the FS on the front or PA for Paul Anka. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
it makes you feel that power stance with the arms outstretched and your feet kind of set apart and you feel, you put your hands on your waist and that power pose kind of stance of, what it feels like in this moment when there's so much work being done. And he's like, I chewed it up and I spit it out. And with all of it was planned. It was intentional, and it was not easy. It made me have to face it, and I stood tall. And so I love that, kind of a little pat on the back moment.
Oh yeah. Well, think about it, Bruce. I put the visual in my head. Here I am eating this, you know, whatever it was that I bit off more than I could chew, and I'm eating it, and it's not pretty. It's not a pretty sight because I'm having to spit it out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah.
And guess what? I straightened up my shoulders and I stood tall and I faced it. Look at the shit
Yes.
I just spit out. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least I did it my way. I
Absolutely.
just love it. I
I do
love
too.
stepping into the feeling of that
I do
and the
too.
picture of it, like you said, feeling that accomplishment.
Yeah.
I did it and I did it my way.
Yeah. And you said it so well when the lyrics go into again another moment of adding more layers, you know, more and more flavor to this dish. Somehow he was like, you know what, that cherry needs a little decoration. Let's give it some more icing and stuff.
Just
And he
give it
just
sprinkles.
let's give it sprinkles, absolutely, because he goes on and the next part, oh my gosh, he really kind of, I think, hits a lot of what a lot of people feel. You know, I've loved, I've laughed and cried. And I don't know anybody that hasn't. I mean, I just have to believe that we've all loved and we've laughed and we've cried and we all know these beautiful emotions. But the loved, I mean, oh my gosh, that one I think really just gets you because, like, I think it feels in your heart like the love, the feeling of that just gets kind of pulled. And I love that part of the song. I
Hmm.
really do.
Yes, me too. And he kind of like then multiplies that or makes it feel bigger by
Yes.
saying, I've had my fill. In other
Yeah.
words, I didn't just love, I didn't just laugh, I didn't just cry. My life was full of
Yeah.
love, full of laughing, and full of crying.
Yeah.
I've had my fill, my share of losing.
Yes.
And so it's like both ends of the spectrum.
Oh yeah.
I've I've been full and I've lost it all.
Yeah. And that's why I think it really touches on how we can all feel because I know that, it's hard to say that you've filled your life with those three things because that can have a little bit of a sense of, oh, like
Hmm.
crying, maybe, like, is that really that great? Well, it really is a good thing. It's like the rain that we talked about earlier. It like
Hmm.
really helps bring things out. And there are different tiers that we have, some that are intentionally designed to make us feel better, and others that are clearing and cleansing, washing, these kinds of things. But we have different tiers, and so I think that in a lot of ways, this is such a beautiful statement to the journey of life, and it also touches on the fact that this is the end of a journey because he says, um, and now as tears subside, you know, it. it's uh it's kind of a way of saying, and now as they are ending, like he talked about in the beginning,
Hmm.
he finds it all so amusing. And and I think, in a way, there's some parts of it where it's important to, for me, the way my truth kind of handles this part of the lyric is that we all have our own way of feeling how we can have a sense of humor about certain things that are now becoming good memories. They were difficult to get through, but now it's a good memory. And I think that's the part where it's, to be amused is not necessarily to sit there, I think, through a comedy show and be laughing. I feel like there's a very literal way of looking at the word of being amused or finding it amusing. And I think that there are different flavors of amusing. And I think that's the way I kind of feel about this is that the way he says, I find it all amusing is because I made it through a lot of that. I chewed it up, I spit it out. The tears are now subsiding, and I am able to move to my new journey, to the new experience, whatever this is going to be. And I think that's such a beautiful way of putting it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I see that as the moment of when the freedom drops in and the
Mm-hmm.
moment of realization that you do create your reality.
Yeah.
Because he was looking back and he said, I find it all amusing. I did
Yeah.
that to myself. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, wow, yes, I allowed myself to feel. I allowed myself, to have regrets and to plan my life out and to stumble and to fall. And I felt it
Yes.
all,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
find it amusing
Yeah. And
because it's like, oh my God, I made it. I made it through everything,
he
the
he
good, the
says,
bad, and the
yeah.
ugly.
And he goes on to say it exactly like you just said. He says, to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. It's
Right.
exactly like you
I
said.
lived out loud, guys.
Yes. Yeah, I did not, I did not hold back. And I just, I loved how you just explained that. That was so beautiful, Donna, because I feel like it was exactly leading into that moment in the lyrics, because I feel like you said what the lyrics were saying in such a beautiful different words. To think I did all that, like almost like the athletes in the Olympics, they're standing on the podium like, to think I did all that, oh my gosh, I'm getting this medal, like what is happening right now? It's
Yes.
just like those beautiful moments in our lives that can have different flavors, but I think I love how, he puts it. And may I say, not at all shy, not holding back a second.
Hmm. Oh no, not me.
Yeah.
Because I did it my way.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the way they repeat that each at the end of each, line of lyrics,
Oh my gosh.
just
Yes.
reminding us it doesn't have to be pretty, guys. It
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
ugly, it can be sad, it can be
Yeah.
joyful and happy and
Yeah.
everything. It can
Yeah.
be, anxious or regretful. It
Yeah.
can be all that and still be beautiful because you're
Absolutely.
doing it your way.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
for what is a man? For me, that's human,
Yes.
not a male. A
Yeah.
human is what
Yeah.
is inserted here.
Yes.
When people use the word man, some people just tag that gender to it, but not in this song.
No,
This
I agree.
song is human.
I
For
agree.
what is a human? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not. And that word, it's an old word. People don't use it very much. I think people have forgotten that it is like the past tense of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It's such a beautiful way of saying exactly what you said. If, what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then, I know it wouldn't rhyme and it wouldn't sound so beautifully poetic because those two lines are, I feel like a lot of sages and, very, very spiritual people in the past have said these exact words in different, with, different vernacular, for lack of a better way to say it. But to me, it's so powerful in that way. And so, yeah, it would be, you could say, like saying, then he has nothing. But the word not is so beautiful. I love that they
Mhm.
use that. And to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. And I feel that like they do it again here. They really have this rhyme that makes it so beautifully poetic, but they're also taking a little bit of it and making it very specific, you know, because he's saying, not necessarily if I'm praying on my knees or in a way that I'm, on my knees begging, really just, you know, saying how I feel from the heart, but with confidence.
Yes, Bruce. For me, this is like so, well, it's poetic in that it rhymes. But
Yes.
the poetry that I'm reading into it is I'm not going outside of myself.
Yes. Yes.
I'm staying within myself. Like you said, I am speaking from my heart.
Yeah.
I am I am truly feeling this.
Yeah.
I'm not, like you said, getting on my knees, talking to a God that's outside of me
Yeah.
that I think can help me or that can do something for me. Because
Yeah.
I now know that I create my reality
Yeah.
and I do it through my heart, through my being, through my feeling,
Yes.
for doing it my way.
Yes. That was
Yeah.
beautiful, Donna. That was beautiful. And he, you know, I love the fact that he says then the record shows I took the blows. You know, he he really again tries to punctuate that point of standing tall and I feel like not apologizing, in any way. And just like you said, all of the ways that was so beautiful, he did it, they did it their way. And it
Hmm.
it just really that really I think speaks to that, and because there's going to be a pothole in the roadway of life because there are potholes, it's like there's going to be a speed bump because there's speed bumps. There's going to be a speed limit. Um, that's just the way it is. And so I think you know, he says it so beautifully. Yeah, I've hit those moments. I've had my own snags or, complications. Those things have surfaced.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love, yeah, the record shows. A record is something that is definite. It's like, well, this is what happened. It's
Yeah.
been recorded. It's real, it's final, it's truth. In
Yeah.
a nutshell, it's truth. The truth is I took the blows and guess what? I did it my way.
Yeah.
Yes, it was my way.
That's beautiful. I'm really glad we found this song today.
Me too. It's a beautiful song and it
It
has
is.
such beautiful memories. Yeah, I kind of feel like dancing to it now, Bruce.
Yeah, this is a song that it really evokes a lot of memories for me. I have danced to the song, but the um the song is just beautiful, and I love the fact that taking a deeper dive into it, line by line, has really made me see so much more in the songs that we do on the show for those of you guys listening because they feel so much more to me when we do this because I discover so much that I probably didn't notice when I was just listening to it and listening to the music and enjoying that and dancing, just like you were talking about,
Hmm.
because that really, I feel like we really get a chance to feel the lyrics in a much more granular way than I would have ever been able to feel, I think, if I were just listening to the song. And I think, are there those of you out there that when you listen to songs, do you feel them deeply? And if you do, please let us know because I love to go into the song like this, and that's where I feel it deeply. But if you're one of those people that can, you can listen to songs and you love it, and I felt that, but with songs with lyrics, sometimes I just don't listen to that as clearly when I'm listening to the music. So go ahead
Yeah.
and reach out, let us know.
Yeah. Just reach out and let us
Yeah,
know you're there and
absolutely.
that you're listening. We appreciate you so much. And we would love to get requests from you too.
Yes,
Remember, send us your request, and you can find all these songs on our wonderful playlist on Spotify. It's called Lyrical Wisdom Songs.
yes.
Yes.
It's really
So,
easy to find on Spotify. Lyrical Wisdom and then Lyrical Wisdom songs.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for allowing us to do this beautiful show our way and for having your day your way. Thank you so much for being here with us today on
Lyrical
Wisdom.